This episode made it official. Hinako is best girl of the series. I know a lot of people love Megumi, and she's a very cute character, but how can you deny that Hinako greatness in this episode? Like, bro, just like, she is so amazing. She is so amazing. I want to say right now, after this episode, I gotta ship it. I gotta ship Megumi and Hinako. I ship it. Like that one scene where Hinako was filling Megumi's hands. Ship. Just ship. Okay, so am I the only one that was like, what the fuck? When they saw Hinako and that male holding her when she was like a mermaid. Like, I have it as a thumbnail most likely, but like, what the fuck? Like, I was looking at that, and I'm like, what am I even looking at? And like, I paused the screen to, you know, take the picture to get a thumbnail, but I'm like, what am I looking at? Like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like, I just, okay, I've heard of foodgasms and stuff, but just the creativity of the foodgasms is something I did not expect. Like, that right there, I just don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. I'm speechless right now to that foodgasm. So, yeah, Hinako, great. She's great. She's definitely my favorite character so far in the series. Just the way she acts, her demeanor, and the way she didn't tell Soma or Aldini, you know, who won. I like that. I like that in the episode when she just ran off and all that. Yeah, I like her personality quite a bit. So, this episode of Food Wars focuses on Soma this time instead of Aldini or Takumi. It focuses on Soma and his dish he will be preparing to go up against Takumi in this episode. And for the most part, from what we can see from both characters from last week's episode and this week's episode, they have become rivals. It's very obvious after this episode they are going to become great rivals and great friends at the exact same time, because in the middle of the episode there's a declaration that Aldini or Takumi makes to Soma. Says, like, one of these days I want to challenge you to a food war. I want to challenge you to one, so you better prepare and make sure you grow as a chef. And we come to find out that this is easily foreshadowing for the future of a very important battle, because now that concretes them as fellow rivals and fellow best friends. So I'm looking forward to that. It's probably going to be very interesting. I wonder exactly when they will have their rematch. I mean, I wonder if we're going to get to see Takumi versus Soma in this season, because if I'm correct, this series is going to have like 24 episodes. I think it's going to have 24 or 23 episodes, and if it does, I wonder if we're going to get to see them, you know, go at each other again, like, you know, cook and see who is a better chef. I don't know, but overall, I'm looking forward to that when that does happen, because both of their skills, like their skill sets when it comes to cooking, are very unique. Like, Soma, as we know, he's very creative, and he knows how to use things that normally people would either throw out or they wouldn't really use to make a very important dish. And Soma's very creative, because that's how he was raised. And when you have it to where Aldini Takumi, he instantly can recognize, like, what he wants to make. Like, he instantly keys out stuff he wants to make, and he doesn't really focus on, okay, what should I make for this one specific customer? Looks all around. He already knows what he should make, and he is creative in a certain sense as well. So, I mean, this episode is just going to show you the differences between these two characters of Soma and Takumi. That's what this episode's main goal was to show, that these two are very different but very similar, going to be very great rivals, and they're probably going to build upon each other to increase their cooking skills. And regardless of that, and regardless of whatever side you like more, if you like, you know, Takumi or Soma, it was still cool getting to see this way this episode was fleshed out to me as a viewer. So, I have to tell you, this training camp is definitely hell, because when we heard about this, you know, hotel that they were going to be staying at, you know, it has a nice bath, it has a nice room, you know, it has nice cooking. Gonna find out that you have to cook all your meals. No, like, your meals are not gonna be cooked for you. You have to cook your own breakfast, lunch, and dinner for yourself, even though you're living in this, you know, great motel for, like, you know, for the entire camping trip. So that fucking sucks. I mean, I guess it is a training camp, and it's meant to train you, so I guess it's kind of obvious they would force you to make your own food, so I guess that's kind of fine. But what's really fucked up is, like, what the dude threw on top of them as soon as they got back. Like, after their stressful day of trying to pass tests, they're told that if you don't make, like, 50 servings in an hour, you'll fail and be expelled instantly. And I'm like, bro, that dude, what the fuck? Like, that is straight up, dude, that would suck, man. That just, imagine after working your ass off all day, you're so exhausted because, you know, you've been working and trying to please the person who's tasting your food. All of a sudden you get back thinking you're about to relax, and then you're told that you need to make 50 fucking servings, and if you don't do it in a certain amount of time, you're gonna be expelled. That would suck. That would really suck. That definitely demoralizes a lot of people when they get back from camp, and that would definitely crush the people that usually are close to their breaking point if they, you know, don't know what to make or not really the best of chefs. So I guess that was another good sort of training for these new chefs or chefs in training. And then eventually the episode leads into a bath scene with Elena, and Soma knocks into her. Now, I gotta point out the obvious, okay? I know Food Wars isn't the most decent, like, what I'm getting at is modest series, like, with its fan service, ecchi. Because there has been times where it just looks like straight up foodgasm hentai. That's kind of what it looks like, food porn, kind of. And in the episode, at the end, when you see Soma knock into Elena, what the fuck is with those sound effects? Like, what is with those sound effects? Like, it's like Nikumi, how her breasts are bouncing. It sounded like slabs of meat just hit the fucking counter, you know? Just like, oh my god, what's with the sound effects? And with this episode, just the moans that Elena made, I'm like, oh my god, it's like she's having sex or something. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, why? Like, my god, man. I bet you know, just imagine something, okay? Actually, just imagine if you're an animator and you were adding in those sound effects into those key scenes. Like, what was the animators thinking when they heard those sound effects? You just gotta imagine that real quick. I mean, if you were an animator, like, I'm talking to every single one of you Chibis are currently watching this. If you were an animator and you're putting those sound effects onto those scenes, like, what would you be fucking thinking? Like, what the hell? Anyways, episode, very solid. Loved it. I love the episode. It's great. I cannot wait for next week to see what is going to happen. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. And I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.